Hey, so I'm here at Watmough Bay, and just wanted to tell you a little bit about it. This is one of my favorite anchorages. It's in my book, Gunk Holing in the Salish Sea. And I don't know if you can make it out, but I've got my sailboat in the back there and my dinghy up here on the beach. I'll do a little panning around to show you a little bit about what's up here. So Watmough Bay is public land, and one of the things I like the most about it is that there's a really nice walking trail that you can go up here to Point Colville, which is also public land. So there's a lot of hiking. It goes on the south end. Point Colville is on the very south end of Lopez, and the views are just amazing. It's a frequent stop by the whale watching boats. I've never personally seen a whale out there, but I'm told that they do come through. The fishing out here is great. Let's see, there's a, I think this is called Watmough Cliff, which I'll show you here in a minute, but there's a sheer rock wall that comes straight out of the water here, and there's turkey vultures that nest up there. I believe there are peregrine falcons that also nest up there. It's a really great nesting site for birds. So in spring, when that's happening, the bird watching here is excellent. The bottom fishing is really good. If you just head out here and head around the south end of Lopez to Point Colville, the fishing's just awesome. Salmon fishing, the bottom fishing's really good. The sailing here is great. What is unique about Watmough Bay is it's on the south end of Lopez, but it opens to the northeast. So it's actually fairly well protected from the south winds. It's not I wouldn't call it a real protected anchorage, but of the choices you have out here, it's probably one of the more protected ones. So the sailing's great. There's a bathroom at the entrance, which is nice if you don't have one on your boat. The good way to anchor out here is a stern tie. So drop your anchor off your bow and then do a stern tie to the cliff. I have read books that talk about this area as having sort of a sketchy anchoring bottom. I haven't personally ever had a problem with it. Nobody I've talked to has had, but I have read that. It looks like there's two mooring buoys that were just put out here by San Juan Land Preservation Trust that may be open to limited public use. I need to see more about that, but if you're interested about coming out here, you might want to check into that, because it does say on the buoy that they're open for limited public use. I don't know what that means. So there's no fires or camping out here, which is kind of a plus if you're in a boat. Edible plants are all over the place. There's a pond just behind the beach that's full of cattails, which is one of my favorite edible foods. There's also tons of stinging nettles, which are in season year-round around here because it's such a mild climate. So those always make a nice salad. There's blue camas all up and down the cliffs, which you got to be careful with those because you got to cook them for like 24 hours, the bulbs, and you can only pick them when they're flowering because they look just like death camas, and you don't want to eat one of those. That'll kill you. There's also lots of rose hips. Those make good tea and good flavoring. The maple trees grow right along the beach, and those flowers, they make really nice food in the spring when they're blooming. I've got a recipe on my blog if you want to look for that. And the mushrooms, right now, as I'm filming this, it's October. It's the end of October, and the mushrooms are just crazy. I wish I could come out here with a mycologist and learn more about them, because there's a lot of good-looking mushrooms between here and Point Colville. So that's just a little bit of what Watmough Bay offers, and I highly recommend it. Great place to visit, whether it's by car or by boat. So here I'm going to do a pan around of Watmough Bay. There you can see Watmough Cliff. I need to verify that that's actually the name of it, but either way, on the north end of Watmough Bay, there's this sheer cliff that rises up, and in spring I've seen turkey vultures nest up there, and they just spend all day riding the thermals and going around. Behind the beach is the pond full of cattails that I mentioned. I'm going to bring you around the bay. You see it has this nice pebble beach. Not really much sand, but there's sand and pebbles. No big rocks. It's a nice beach. And then back that way, that's private land, but the trail heads over to the south end of the island that we're looking at right now, and that's to Point Colville. So there's a sign at the head of the beach, and it's a trailhead right there that leads to the parking lot and the bathroom, and you keep going up the road to Point Colville.